Imagine standing on the shores of ancient Egypt, where the Mediterranean breeze carries the scent of salt and papyrus. The city of Alexandria, founded by Alexander the Great in 331 BCE, was more than a bustling port. It was a beacon of knowledge, a place where the world's wisdom was gathered, studied, and preserved. At its heart stood the Library of Alexandria, a sanctuary of learning that promised to hold the memory of civilizations. Yet one night, silence fell upon it, a silence that has echoed through history ever since. The Library of Alexandria was not a single building, but part of a larger research institution known as the Museon, dedicated to the Muses, the goddesses of inspiration. Established under the rule of Ptolemy II, it was designed to be more than a collection of scrolls. It was a living university where scholars from Greece, Egypt, Mesopotamia, India, and beyond came together. They studied astronomy, mathematics, medicine, geography, and philosophy. The ambition was breathtaking, to gather every text in the known world. Ships that docked in Alexandria were searched for manuscripts. Copies were made, and the originals were often kept in the library. Works of Homer, Aristotle, and Sophocles were preserved alongside Egyptian medical papyri, Babylonian star charts, and Indian treatises on mathematics. Some estimates suggest the library may have held hundreds of thousands of scrolls. While the exact number is debated, the vision was clear. Alexandria would be the intellectual capital of the world. The scholars who walked its halls were legends in their own right. Eratosthenes, the librarian in the 3rd century BCE, calculated the circumference of the earth with remarkable accuracy using shadows and geometry. Herophilus, a physician, studied the human nervous system and distinguished between veins and arteries. Callimachus, a poet and scholar, created the first known library catalog, organizing the scrolls into categories. These were not just dusty manuscripts, they were living tools that shaped science, literature, and philosophy for centuries to come. But history rarely preserves greatness without tragedy. The story of the destruction of the library is layered with uncertainty. Ancient sources disagree, and modern historians still debate what truly happened. What is certain is that the silence of the library was not the result of a single night, but rather a series of calamities across centuries. The first blow may have come in 48 BCE, during Julius Caesar's campaign in Egypt. Pursued by enemy ships, Caesar ordered the burning of the Alexandrian harbor to block his opponents. The fire spread, and ancient writers like Plutarch suggest that warehouses filled with scrolls were destroyed. Whether the flames reached the main library itself is unclear, but the damage was undeniable. Thousands of texts may have been lost in that moment. Later centuries brought further decline. In the 3rd century CE, during the reign of Emperor Aurelian, Alexandria was caught in civil war. Parts of the city were destroyed, and the library may have suffered again. By the 4th century CE, when Christianity became dominant in the Roman Empire, pagan temples and institutions faced suppression. The Serapeum, a daughter library of the Great Collection, was destroyed in 391 CE, under orders from Emperor Theodosius I. By then, much of the knowledge that once filled Alexandria's shelves had already vanished. The final silence is often linked to the Arab conquest of Egypt in the 7th century. Some later accounts claim that Caliph Omar ordered the remaining scrolls to be burned, their ashes used to heat the city's baths. Yet many historians doubt this story, noting that it appears in sources written centuries after the conquest. Whether true or not, by that time, the library's treasures were already scattered, lost, or destroyed. What makes the fall of the Library of Alexandria so astonishing is not only the loss itself, but the scale of what might have been preserved.
Imagine if the works of ancient engineers, physicians, and philosophers had survived intact. Some speculate that humanity's scientific progress could have leapt forward by centuries. Perhaps steam engines, electricity, or advanced medicine might have emerged far earlier. While such speculation cannot be proven, the thought lingers. The silence of the library may have delayed the course of human history. Yet even in loss, the legacy of the library endures. The very idea of collecting and preserving all human knowledge inspired later institutions. The great libraries of Baghdad during the Islamic Golden Age, the monastic scriptoria of medieval Europe, and the Renaissance passion for rediscovering classical texts all carried echoes of Alexandria's dream. Today, the modern Bibliotheca Alexandrina, built near the site of the ancient library, stands as a tribute to that vision. It houses millions of books, digital archives, and research centers, reminding us that the pursuit of knowledge never truly ends. The story of the Library of Alexandria is also a story of fragility. Knowledge, no matter how vast, can be lost through war, neglect, or intolerance. Scrolls written at hand, copied painstakingly over years, could vanish in a single night of fire. Even today, digital archives face risks of erasure, corruption, or censorship. The silence of Alexandria teaches us that preserving knowledge requires constant care and vigilance. For the people of ancient Alexandria, the library was more than a building. It was a symbol of human curiosity, a place where cultures met and ideas crossed borders. Greek philosophy mingled with Egyptian medicine, Babylonian astronomy with Indian mathematics. It was a global project before the modern world had even imagined globalization. Its fall was not just the loss of books, but the loss of connections between civilizations. As you imagine that night when the library fell silent, picture the scholars who once walked its halls. Perhaps one of them was copying a scroll on astronomy, another debating philosophy, another cataloging works of poetry. The fire, the wars, the decrees of emperors, these swept away their work. But the dream they carried, the dream of gathering and sharing knowledge, survived. It lives in every library, every archive, every classroom, and every effort to preserve history for the future.